Mortal Kombat! Dun 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 dun. Hey, Wolfpack, we're back with another surprise tier list. Yep, we're streaming again, and this time we're gonna do a smaller stream. Hopefully it's a smaller one. Watch and see the timestamp make it to 8 hours, but we're gonna be talking about another franchise that I've been really wanting to talk about on the channel, but didn't know if I had any fans in my subscribers. Wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat. It's combat time. And we're gonna start small, talking about the MK movie saga. That's right, all 8 of them. The animated films and, of course, the live-action films, which have very mixed reviews, but yeah, wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat! Hey, Shadowlink, glad you made it. Yep, talking about Mortal Kombat, but going to take it easy on you guys and talk about the movies. All 8 of them. Yeah, this is kinda small for Mortal Kombat. If you don't know or have lived under a rock for the past 40 years, Mortal Kombat is a kick-ass fighting game. It's about supernatural ninjas, great warriors from many dimensions, including our realm of Earthrealm, fighting in the tournament known as Mortal Kombat. A tournament over the safety of your world, your realm, and your universe. Whoever wins keeps their world safe, whoever loses gets their world conquered by evil space invader ninjas from the Outworld. Yeah, it is kind of a crazy saga. Basically, if Street Fighter went to the extreme, full-blown R-rated violence, blood and gore, hot women, kick-ass dudes, lovely ninja warriors, and a lot of great gameplay. Mortal Kombat is an awesome fighting game franchise. I am a fan, and some of you might have figured that out if you keep up with my channel. I do reference it slightly in my videos, but really enjoy Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat proved so popular that, of course, it got a film or two here and there. Mortal Kombat is amazing up until the more recent games. I will say the last good Mortal Kombat game is definitely MK9. It's Mortal Kombat 2011. That one was my first MK game, and the movies kind of introduced me to the universe. So I will warn you, I did not grow up with this saga. I actually got into it a lot later. I was not there when the first arcade cabinets were out and about, and Mortal Kombat took the world by storm, triggering a bunch of pearl-clutching Karens with the hardcore violence and fatalities. I was not there when it was popular. I did kind of grow up with it. I am a later generation Mortal Kombat fan. My first game was, or I should say my introduction to the video games, was MK9. That's the 2011, the soft reboot one, which I think is a good game. Unfortunately, it was followed up by some terrible sequels, MKX, and the infamous MK11. Really excited for the release of the Legacy Collection. Can't wait to relive the classics again. Yeah, I want to experience those too. I remember playing a TV game of the first Mortal Kombat game, but nothing of the actual original's caliber. So, Mortal Kombat, of course, proved so popular, it got a bunch of films which helped newbies like me get into the universe and the story in the Mortal Kombat games. I actually was introduced to Mortal Kombat through the first movie, the 90s one. This kind of introduced me to all the characters. I only knew of this franchise through Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Those were the big characters. Those are technically the mascots of both MK and NetherRealm, but the first movie did help me learn about all the main characters and the grander story going on. Unfortunately, that was followed up by Annihilation, but we'll get to that mess soon enough. So as you can tell, Mortal Kombat is a huge deal in the gaming community. It is a big fighting game, a 1 versus 1 type of player game. There is a big overarching story, a main campaign, a dozen characters, there's like over 100 now, and this game series is still going. We got MK1 recently, and there's a new sequel on the horizon to the 2021 movie. I ordinarily would have waited until the sequel came out, but I realized it's actually the 30-year anniversary of the first movie, Mortal Kombat 1995. Yep, 30 years ago we got our first MK movie in theaters, and it was awesome and still good to this very day. So I wanted to celebrate that milestone celebration, along with testing the waters to see if anyone in the wolf pack would like to see Mortal Kombat content. Hi, Cat. So, Mortal Kombat. Yep, Akira, we're gonna be starting slow with the movies before we do character tier list, because there are a lot of characters. So I wanted to start small, especially because we're coming right after the Scooby-Doo villains tier list, which went on for almost 4 hours. If this does well, perhaps there will be games, characters, and maybe fatalities tier list in the future. Oh yeah, though those vids will definitely be long. Yeah, they will. Mortal Kombat has like 50 characters per game, and new ones introduced in each entry, so yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but let's start small with the movies. As you know, Mortal Kombat proved very popular, almost bigger than Street Fighter in some circles, and got a few movie adaptations. Got all the live-action movies and all the animated ones, including some that fans might not know of or never seen. And I will be ranking them all up here on this tier list from top best to bottom worst. Alright, so let's go over the rules if this is your first ever MK ladder tier list. Up top, we have flawless victory. Goes without saying, these one are the 10 out of 10s, the best of the best, the champions of Mortal Kombat, if you will. The best movies ever, and I will defend that they are good video game movies and good Mortal Kombat tales. Then here, we have cool. These ones, good, not great. Had a lot of great things going for them. Had some interesting moments, a few scratches, nitpicks, and problems in the story here and there. Obviously, opinions will vary, but I will say they're definitely decent movies and a cool time. Yes, that is spelled intentional because Mortal Kombat because poor literacy is cool in Mortal Kombat. Then here we have tie game. As you can see, speaks for itself, 50-50. These ones had an equal amount of good and an equal amount of bad. Could have been something great, but had a lot of flaws holding them down, and might see a few entries down here more than the top dogs. But next we have Lin Nay. These ones, weak, bad, Bronze Skull, the generic entries, the forgettable ones, the ones that are just plain lame, the ones you'll forget about in like a day or two. Not good movies. But down at rock bottom, we have It's Official, You Suck. These ones, 0 out of 10, total failures, the god-awful Mortal Kombat tales, and the possibly worst movies of video games you'll ever see. And sadly, we will be seeing a face or two down here. Catch up on comments. Like Cassie Cage is my waifu, and no, it's not resemble my rival from school, but she played Luna from Hell of a Boss. Oh, really? You like Cassie Cage? I thought she was fine. She's no Sonya Blade, though. I remember seeing the trailer for the first movie in the Mask the Animated Series VHS. Tell me I'm not the only one who watched it. Sorry, I didn't even know the Mask had an animated series until browsing around the fandom. Yeah, I see. Hell of a Boss. Alright, so there are actually 8 movies in Mortal Kombat. 5 of them are animated, and 3 of them are theatrical. And if you ask anyone, opinions vary from person to person. There are some good movies here, but Mortal Kombat has suffered the video game movie curse highly. So there are gonna be some infamous entries, or some we're gonna have very mixed opinions on. But let's finally get this tier list underway. Got my waters here to stay hydrated. Alright, so you all waited for my explanations. Let's begin. Let's finally start with the first ever Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat. The journey begins. Yeah, I fooled ya. Journey begins. Let's get this piece of crap out of the way on You Suck. This is one of the most god-awful, bafflingly incompetent video game movies I've ever seen in my 9 lives. Yeah, we're starting with The Journey Begins, which was, I kid you not, a prologue movie that was supposed to hype up the live action movie. This one did roughly come out like a year or a few months before Paul W.S. Anderson's movie. The Journey Begins, if you remember it, it is bad. It is bad. I hardly even remember this one. I heard Jim Cummings voice the character in that. Yeah, Jim Cummings is Shang Tsung and Goro. Yeah, they got Jim Cummings as Goro and Shang Tsung, and Jennifer Hale is Sonya Blade. Sadly, the last time we ever heard Jennifer Hale as Sonya Blade, because she never came back since this one was awful. This was kind of a prologue movie. It was basically there to advertise and hype up the live action one that was coming in theaters. It was a direct-to-video piece of crap, released in the 90s era of animation. It's direct-to-video. It was kind of a product selling and advertising a product. Kind of like how the Street Fighter anime movie was supposed to hype up the live action one starring Raul Julia and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, the Street Fighter 2 also did this, but their movie was a lot better. The animation in this is garbage. It is bad. There's early 90s 3D animation, and it looks like a PlayStation 1 graphic. Goro is like entirely CGI. They use what look like graphics from the MK Shaolin Monks game and try to insert it alongside the 2D animation, and boy howdy, it does not mesh well. Basically, we meet Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, and Raiden, the main characters from the movie. They designed them to look like their game counterparts back from the arcade cabinets. They're on the boat heading towards Shang Tsung's island. It is basically the opening of the movie. They're traveling on boats, and it is a long exposition dump giving you all the MK lore so you're caught up by the time the movie starts. They tell you what the tournament's all about, tell you Shang Tsung's origin, tell you Goro's origin. Goro's brother actually appears in the movie. He gets killed by his evil brother who stole the kingdom and the throne to become, you know, the king of his people. And Jim Cummings plays Shang Tsung. The animation does not look good. There's a ton of bad 3D backgrounds and a ton of endless walking cycles. And when we finally get to combat time, it is not good. They basically fight a bunch of faceless ninja goons, and Tarkatan's, Baraka's people shows up, and I'm not sure if Baraka is even among them, but yeah, it's a bunch of Tarkatan's, Baraka's people. They fight, get beat up by Sonya, Johnny, and Liu, and basically the movie ends on a cliffhanger, telling you if you want to see the complete story, then go see the movie in theaters this summer. And they also give you like a bunch of stats information at the end, like their height, their strength, their skill, their names, their background, like kind of cards at the end of each character, like of Sonya, of Katana, of Shang Tsung, and that's the end of the movie. What is this horror? Also, Jim Cummings played Sub-Zero. Okay, he did. Sub-Zero was in the movie. I just kind of hardly remember it. The voice acting from Liu and Johnny especially, not very good. Jennifer Hale and Jim Cummings try, but the animation does not back them up. It honestly kind of reminds me of that lame cartoon, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. If any of you remember that, there was this bad 90s cartoon, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, which carried on after MK Annihilation, and the characters look like they're from that cartoon. Like, they use prototypes of that animation. Raiden looks like his counterpart from the Defenders of the Realm show. Like only Death Battle have Mortal Kombat, Sonya Blade, Sub-Zero, Shao Kahn, and Scorpion wins. Yeah, they were pretty badass, though. Wish we got Katana Death Battle. So, Really, a whole bunch of nothing happens in this movie. It is a ton of walking around the island, exposition dumps, walking around the island, exposition dumps, walking around the island, then a fight scene at the end, which is badly animated, and they build up that Liu Kang's gonna fight Shang Tsung, only to end on a cliffhanger, then tell you to go see the movie, giving you a ton of stats cards and background information, which they probably should have told us all throughout the movie. Yeah, it's basically a big hype for the first film, and that's really it. It sucks. Trust me, you do not want to watch this. It is free on YouTube because no studio wanted to claim ownership of it because it was just that bad. I remember that one Clancy Brown voiced Raiden, and Ron Perlman was Stryker, and Luke Perry was Sub-Zero. Yeah, I was not a fan of Luke Perry Sub-Zero. My friend Emily really loved him, but me, I felt very indifferent. But Sindel, Shang Tsung, Johnny Cage, Sector, and Goro die by Black Canary, Captain Falcon, Akuma, Fulgor, and Machamp. Machamp is a pretty powerful Pokemon. Okay, so to wrap up, the journey begins. It sucks. You can skip this. There's a reason people forgot about it. It is official. It sucks. But let's talk about the one you all want to see. Mortal Kombat! The Paul W.S. Anderson movie. And believe it or not, this one's going on to flawless victory. Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson actually could make video game movies that didn't suck. This is the OG live-action 90s Mortal Kombat, the one with Robin Shao as Liu Kang, the ever-so-beautiful Talisa Soto as Kitana, and Sagawa as Shang Tsung, Lyndon Ashby as Johnny Cage, and the girl from I Know What You Did Last Summer as Sonya Blade. Also, why people like Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat and Death Battle. Because, Akira, they were rival franchises. Technically, they still are, but yeah, there was a big fan rivalry between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was a lot more darker and edgier, but they were like the two high-profile fighting games in the 90s. Mortal Kombat! Hey, just some random guy. Have you seen James from Dead Meat cover the Mortal Kombat theme? I saw him cover the movies, but not the theme. Alright, so let's talk about the good movie. This movie is awesome. It is one of the best video game movies ever made, mostly because the bar was so low, but I really like it. So, the worst thing people have to say about this movie, it is PG-13, which is complete bullcrap. Mortal Kombat was a groundbreaking rated R game. Mortal Kombat was one of the pioneers of the M rating in video games. It was bloody, mature, dark, and had a very heavy adult themes. And the movie kind of toned it down. It is PG-13. However, it does have a lot of great, which makes up for that. James had to do a cover of the theme to avoid copyright. That makes sense. That movie trailer was seen in the Mask animated series VHS tapes, so you told me, Anime Night. Also, Trigon's actor played Goro. Yeah, Kevin Michael Richardson voices Goro. They did get a live-action guy to play him. Alright, so, Mortal Kombat in live action. And basically, the movie is an adaptation of the first game. There are elements and story points from Mortal Kombat 2 that appear here, namely Kitana and Shao Kahn do appear in the movie, but it is a straight-up adaptation of Mortal Kombat 1. What's the plot of the first Mortal Kombat story? Shang Tsung invites all the greatest warriors from across the galaxy to come to his tournament to fight to the death in Mortal Kombat. If you win, your world is spared from the wrath of Shao Kahn. If you lose, then Shao Kahn invades and conquers your planet because he now knows it is weak if you are the best that universe has to offer. So, a lot of great characters, the main ones being Liu Kang, who is undergoing a Chosen One arc, Johnny Cage, a washed-up actor and an arrogant celebrity who learns to be nice and learns to be a true hero, not just a phony, and Sonya Blade, who's basically a bitch, who defrosts her cold heart and becomes a nice hero girl. Also, Katana is here looking hot in the background, and she's set up as Liu Kang's love interest. And how can we forget Raiden, the wise, eccentric mentor who's helping the Mortal Kombat champion save Earthrealm. So, the movie does finally give a lot of plot backstory and mend some plot holes from the games. This one complaint I heard is they ruined Raiden, making him Caucasian instead of Asian. Yeah, they got, what's it? Christopher Lambert. Yeah, Christopher Lambert plays Raiden, and a lot of people didn't like it because Raiden's supposed to be Asian. He's like a Chinese lightning god or thunder god. I think the idea was they were trying to make him look like Thor. Like, that's what Christopher Lambert looks like Thor. He has, like, the long flowing blonde hair and looks like a European lightning god. It was honestly a change I was okay with, especially because Liu Kang and Shang Tsung are also Asian guys, and they're, like, the most badass characters in the film. Yeah, some people complained. I also think the developers probably didn't realize Raiden was Asian because you can hardly tell in the video game. The original look for Raiden, he wears like a straw hat but has those super duper electrified eyes, so I guess they couldn't tell he was an Asian dude under all that. Yeah, Kari Hiroki Tagawa played Shang Tsung, like Master Roshi in Elektra, and Mishima from Tekken. Brushogun in Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo. Yeah, Tagawa's really awesome in this film. Oh, and he was the Sumo Kama in TMNT 2012. Hey, Jon Snow, talking about my favorite movie with one of my favorite girls, Katana. Yeah, a lot of people love Sonya Blade, who is pretty hot. Bridget does look pretty good. She got in shape. She's ironically the only one who doesn't have fighting skills for the fight scenes, but to me, I always loved Katana. Talisa Soto, very beautiful. Loved her as Katana. She was my introduction to the character, and she was what I remembered most about the film. You know, other than all the cool fighting scenes. Okay, so all the greatest warriors are coming to basically this Survivor Island to participate in the Mortal Kombat tournament. We find out Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn are planning to invade Earthrealm, and all they need to do is defeat Earth's greatest champions, allowing Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn to cross over into Earthrealm and conquer our planet. And Raiden is trying to train some great warriors to save the Earth before it's too late, because this is the final tournament after they lost multiple times and now realizes that they're in great danger. Raiden helps Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade undergo their character arcs, fight in the tournament. They cross paths with many iconic characters from the video game, have a lot of cool fight scenes, and save our world from these evil villains who are planning to cheat and win in this tournament. Hi everyone, AV Scorpio. Also, Raiden was killed by Thor, like Season 1 of Death Battle sucks. Yeah, Felicia would definitely beat Tao Kaka. Also, Sun Tzu from Batman Rise of the Sun Tzu. Oh, that was him, okay. Say what you would Immortal Kombat look like. Probably bloody. Christopher Lambert also played Methodius in Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. I thought he was like the... Oh yeah, he was like the cyber monk who abducted the devil's kid. How's everyone doing today? We're fine, having fun with combat time. Mortal Kombat. Another change is how Scorpion's robes are now live, or his ropes are now live vipers. Yeah, but honestly that was kind of cool, even with the hokey CGI. So the big selling point is we see a lot of our favorite characters from the video game, at least the first game and the part of the second game, appearing in this movie in fighting tournaments. It is basically a lot of action scenes. They're fighting villains, fighting rivals, going up, undergoing their character arcs. Not too much plot happens. It is a very basic movie. It's like an hour and 30 minutes, technically 40 minutes, but it has like end credits at the end that go on long. Everybody loves that cool Mortal Kombat theme song, the techno music. That was really awesome. Shang Tsung, really badass James Bond style villain. Tagawa really owns this role. He pretty much made Shang Tsung a fan favorite thanks to this movie. Yeah, people did not like Shang Tsung back in the arcade days. Shao Kahn was the real villain. Shang Tsung is usually Shao Kahn's Starscream, always plotting behind his boss's back and planning his own agenda. And Tagawa really made Shang Tsung kind of a household name for Mortal Kombat fans. Yeah, Kano's actor passed away, so he was safe from the sequel. He died years later. He was dead in the movie, though. Basically, record of Ragnarok. Well, since it's like Mortal Kombat, gods versus humanity. What Darkstalker's character you want in Death Battle? Oh, that is hard. I wanted to see Bishaman versus the Samurai Sword monster. But Morgan versus Vipra, that would also be pretty cool. Yeah, Talisa Soto played Kitana. Really love Talisa Soto's Kitana. I know she doesn't do much in this movie, but I thought she was so pretty. She's like a badass warrior princess, and yeah, Kitana was the character I crushed on. A lot of people love Bridget as Sonya Blade, who is pretty hot, don't get me wrong, but Kitana had a more magical vibe to her. Also, Lupi Lamora 007, License to Kill. And I can guess that the most funniest moment is when Johnny looked at Sonya and said, "Nice dress," as she grunts. But you have to admit, she does look sexy in that dress. Yeah, she dressed up like Xena Warrior Princess. No, the funniest moment I remember is Johnny Cage punching Goro in the nuts. Like, yeah, that became like one of his special moves in later games. Like, he fights Goro, the undefeatable champion who murdered all these characters, and Johnny just hits him in the nuts, punches him, and it actually hurt his hand too. He's like trying to nurse it, going, "Ow," and Goro's like writhing in pain. Yeah, Kevin Michael Richardson voices Goro. They actually did make Goro a practical effect. They used CGI for some scenes, but he was really there. He was like a big Muppet interacting with the cast. Honestly, he looks a lot better than he does in the 2021 movie. Trevor Goddard played Kano. "Hello, baby. Did you miss me?" Yeah, we meet a whole bunch of characters. Aside from our main cast, Raiden really is fun in this movie. Love Christopher Lambert's performance. Ha ha ha. Sorry. I don't think so. Yeah, he is very funny. Raiden's kind of like this Yoda type of character. He's eccentric and kooky, but very much knowledgeable, wise, and does know what he's talking about, and actually kind of playfully banters with the cast. Hey, watching MK. Hey, Monica. Played Grapple in Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. Oh, did he? Okay, I did not know that. Okay, so we're still on Mortal Kombat 1. Not a very deep plot. They're fighting in a tournament. They find out a conspiracy is going on, and we meet a lot of characters from the games. We meet Shang Tsung and all the iconic villains. Kitana, she's still on the evil side in this movie. Kano, Goro, Reptile, he's really cool, and unfortunately, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are on the villain side. This was another complaint fans had because usually they're kind of anti-heroes. Scorpion, like, lost his entire clan because Sub-Zero killed him. It was actually Quan Chi in disguise, and Sub-Zero had this compelling story arc. He died and passed the mantle on to his brother, Baihan, and yeah, they kind of gloss over that. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are minions working for Shang Tsung. It's implied they're brainwashed. We see, like, their eyes are kind of blurred, hinting that there's mind control at play. Yeah, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are basically bodyguards serving Shang Tsung, and he uses them to try to assassinate the other characters. Nostalgia Critic reviewed both of the movies. He hated both of them, lol. I like the first one more. Lyndon Ashby played Johnny Cage, and he was really cool. Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole. Yeah, Lyndon Ashby made Johnny Cage easily the funniest character in the movie. Yeah, Ashby's performance was so well loved that they kind of made Johnny Cage the comic relief fighter. He went from basically this Dan Hibiki knockoff into kind of his own well-rounded character, kind of like an Anakin Skywalker type of showboat character. Like why Billy Butcher actors Johnny Cage? Because Lyndon Ashby didn't come back because he read the script of the sequel. Your soul is mine. Yeah, this movie's very quotable. A lot of badass quotes here too. And a lot of dialogue that would go over into the video games, and a lot of plot points too. Like, Liu Kang and Katana did not have a romantic relationship until this movie. Their romance here actually made them popular as a couple in future games. So, thank this movie for making Katana and Liu Kang a couple, and Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. Sonya Blade usually got shipped with Jax, but in this movie, she's kind of a defrosting ice queen, and Johnny Cage, basically a hero who grows humble and matures. They become a romance in this movie, and yeah, they fully admit that she had feelings for him in the sequel, even though he died. Yeah, this movie introduced the romance and started shipping more characters. Which quote in this movie you want in the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie? That is pretty hard. I do kind of like a lot. I would like to see Johnny Cage. Damn it, I'm Johnny Cage, and where do you get these guys? Lyndon Ashby knew exactly what type of movie they were in. They should also bring the "those are $500 sunglasses asshole" quote back. Like one of the villains knocks them off and breaks them. Yeah, so basically it's a whole lot of fighting. I love Reptile, even with the sketchy Beast Wars CGI aside. Yeah, it did look kind of weird, really hokey. I know it looks fake looking now, but love that Reptile somehow morphs with a statue and gains his live action bod. Reptile was one of my favorite villains, so he is pretty cool in my book. Scorpion tragically dies in this movie, gets killed by Johnny Cage, but don't worry, he's undead, he'll come back. Sub-Zero gets killed by water, and I guess they're gonna retcon that, yeah, it was Liu Kang who killed Sub-Zero this time, passing the mantle on to the brother, and not Scorpion, who actually was his arch nemesis. Do you have the animated movies? Yep, they are down here, all of them. All up to Cage Match. Okay, so it leads to basically a big fight scene between Shang Tsung and Liu Kang. Liu Kang accepts his role as the Chosen One, overcomes his brother's death. It's implied his brother is Kung Lao. Yeah, Kung Lao can never catch a break in this story. Kung Lao was the brother who died, and he blamed himself for Kung Lao's death. He tried to defeat Shang Tsung, only to die failing. Liu overcomes his trauma, overcomes his guilt, accepts his role as the hero, and finally beats Shang Tsung's ass, kicking him down the spike pit from the games. And yeah, it's pretty cool, though somehow I'm amazed Shang Tsung doesn't bleed from getting impaled in the pit, but yeah. Shang Tsung dies, they save the world, they win the tournament, Sonya Blade's nice, dating Johnny Cage, Johnny Cage is mature, now a noble hero, Liu Kang accepts his role as warrior, Katana turns good, and is implied to have a crush on Liu Kang, and Raiden congratulates them all, until we get to our twist ending. At the end, we get a sequel bait cliffhanger. Even though they won the tournament, Earth is invaded by Shao Kahn. You weak, pathetic humans, I've come for your soul. Shh, I don't think so. Ending on a badass sequel hook, unfortunately leading to a worse movie. Reptile stole the show. Yeah, he was pretty cool. Robin Shao as Liu Kang. Yeah, he was really awesome. Kung Lao always gets killed. These movies and games are out to get him. Yeah, I know it sucks. I love Kung Lao. He's so awesome. We never even got to see him wield that super duper hat. Yeah, I had never seen it. Played Pirate Senior in Dead or Alive, live action movie, and Jen in Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li. I remember. Liu Kang teaches Chun-Li in that movie. Unfortunately, it was a garbage movie too. Yeah, Reptile is so awesome in this. Really like him. He's one of my favorite characters. He is one of the few I like in the new video game, MK1. They actually gave him a very compelling backstory. And I love Katana. She's one of my video game waifus. Easily my favorite combatant. And Talisa Soto, yeah, definitely definitely helped me love this character more. I was introduced to the character through her, so she holds a special place in my little kitty heart. But aside from that, this movie is unironically good. It is awesome. It is dumb fun. I would say it reminded me of like Xena Warrior Princess. Had that kind of campy action-adventure vibe to it. The CGI is really dated, but a lot of the fight scenes, a lot of the practical effects and the characters really do hold up. This movie is awesome and might be our #1 already. The original, I would defend, is one of the rare good video game movies, even with all the flaws people have with it. Yeah, I wish Kung Lao wouldn't die all the time. This movie, underrated, really cool, really fun. It's not what I would call a groundbreaking movie, but as far as video game movies go, this one looks really good. It is like in my top 10 favorite video game adaptations. It is underrated and did a miracle by having Paul W.S. Anderson actually giving us a good video game movie. He unfortunately would not do the same with a certain Capcom franchise, but yeah, this one might be our #1. It is cool. Flawless victory. Like why people make memes of Shaggy being in Mortal Kombat DLC because of Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Yeah, people love him. He appeared in the animated feature. So, unfortunately, after the success of the first movie, it led to a sequel, which people do not like. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's official. You suck. Yeah, this one I'll put above The Journey Begins, but not a good movie. This was not only one of the worst Mortal Kombat movies, but one of the worst video game adaptations, period. It is hated. Garbage sequel, garbage effects, really bad acting, really nonsensical plot, and unfortunately a total letdown compared to the first movie. Having Raiden get a haircut was disturbing the peace. Yeah, so Christopher Lambert got kicked out the door and replaced by James Remar Raiden. And yeah, James Remar is the worst Raiden of all time. Even with all the terrible voice dubbers, James Remar was no Raiden. So most of the cast from the first movie, they're gone. The only ones who stayed behind are Robin Shou's Liu Kang and Talisa Soto's Kitana, so she was the only reason I watched this movie, outside of expecting it to be good. So, it is a letdown. One, Shao Kahn is now invading, and they got a god-awful actor to play him. He is not very good, and he takes off his cool helmet way too much to show the actor's face, and all you really see is this annoying, goofy-looking man-baby instead of Shao Kahn. Annihilation gave us great memes. Yeah, they did, but as a movie, it is not good. He played Zeta Prime in Transformers Prime. Oh, he did. Wait, who are you talking about? Oh, James Remar? Sorry, Transformers 1. Oh, okay. Also, Two-Face from Batman the Brave and the Bold. That was James Remar, yeah. Okay, so this is the story of Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Shao Kahn is invading Earthrealm, and he brought his entire army, and I do mean his entire army because there are so many characters in this movie. He's attacking the Earth, and the heroes are desperately trying to fight Mortal Kombat in order to win. They're chased by minions, hunted across different settings, which are blatant levels from the game. A lot of shoehorned and forced references to the video games here and there. Some bad acting, a lot of exposition dumps, and ultimately culminating in a final fight against the evil Emperor. They do try to give the characters character arcs. Kitana gets a character arc this time, and honestly, that was kind of the only reason I watch all the way through, because I love Talisa Soto's Kitana. Liu Kang has to learn new moves to defeat the superpowered Emperor, and it's where he learns his animality. Also, they revealed his face. Isn't he supposed to be a dragon human? Yes, he is, and yeah, we're gonna get to the reason why this movie sucks. It is a low-budget movie. They cut corners everywhere. The actors are not very good. They show Shao Kahn's face way too many times. Some characters which are supposed to be supernatural, magical, or have CGI do not look well in live action, and there are way too many characters in this. There's like an abrupt fight scene at every turn. There's constant non-stop action, which ordinarily wouldn't be a bad thing, but it's between a lot of characters who are just random cameos or forced in here. Yeah, they cram in way too many people. We meet the Cyber Initiative ninjas, Sector, Cyrax, and even Smoke. Yeah, we never got to see Smoke as a human before, but yeah, he's a cyborg. We meet Sindel, Kitana's mother is her arch nemesis. Ermac is here. Rain is here for like 2 seconds and he's killed. Twice, I might add. Yeah, Nightwolf is in this. We meet the Elder Gods. Shinnok is here, and he's like the evil Emperor Palpatine pulling all the strings. Yeah, kind of disrespecting Shao Kahn. It turns out Shao Kahn and Shinnok are working together, as opposed to Shao Kahn being the main villain. Shinnok's like working with them and consulting him. Must I do everything? Very funny. And even characters who died are somehow back. Scorpion's back, Sub-Zero's back, and Reptile's back. Yeah, even though he did die in the first movie, Reptile's back and he's brought his army of clones or whatever. There's a lot. It is bloated, convoluted, and has a very clunky style of storytelling. Yeah, Sindel is also Shao Kahn's MILF, lol. Yeah, Sindel's here. I used to love quoting this with my friend. Mother, you're alive. And Sindel says, too bad you will die. That was the best quote of the movie because of how stupid it is. Yeah, Sindel's here, looking hot, so don't worry, she is easy on the eyes for sure. She gets her cool Banshee scream. I always thought Sindel was a cool character, but here she's just kind of Shao Kahn's hot piece of ass. I guess that is one of the positives of this movie. There are plenty of hot chicks. If you like the hot Mortal Kombat girls, they are pretty much the only reason a lot of guys watch this. We got Talisa Soto looking hot as Kitana. Sindel is pretty hot. She's a sexy MILF girl. The new Sonya Blade gets into a sexy mud fight with Melina. Melina's in this for like 2 seconds and she gets covered in mud. And of course, how can we forget Jade? Jade, who's so hot that literally every character points out that she's hot. Lightfoot played Nightwolf. Yeah, Nightwolf comes in here. Irina Panteva played Jade. Yeah, my friend Bodhi must really love her because she does look pretty. Yeah, they reveal Shao Kahn's face way too often. He's supposed to be like a human-dragon hybrid. He has like reptile eyes, but not in the movie. He looks like this grown man baby. He's bald and has this doofy-looking face and smug smile all the time. Black Mask from the Batman, and Walter Hardy, the burglar from Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, James Remar was pretty much the only one who had a career after this movie. Motaro is the worst character design I have ever seen. Yeah, he's got his centaur legs, and it is obviously fake, but tragically this is like the most Motaro has ever done in a Mortal Kombat movie. Like he played Little Bear in The Indian and the Cupboard. Oh, he did. Okay, so he got a good movie after this. Yeah, Noob Saibot's here. They don't explain how he became Noob Saibot. Weirdly, Quan Chi is not in this movie, even though he's kind of a major plot-relevant character in the games. Yeah, Sindel is Shao Kahn's MILF. They're always, like, giving each other bedroom eyes. So, unfortunately, there's a severe lack of character in this movie. The only characters who get development are Liu Kang and Kitana. Everyone else, kind of nothing. Jax also joins the heroes in this movie. He underwent surgery to get robot arms. He's kind of Sonya Blade's rebound guy, which is very awkward because Johnny Cage dies in the opening of this movie. Yeah, they killed off Johnny Cage. Why? Because Lyndon Ashby didn't want to come back, so they had a guy stand in for him and get neck snapped by Shao Kahn. Darren McBee played Motaro. Majin Holden. Yeah, Shiva's in this. A lot of characters. Even Baraka's in this. Was Noob Saibot in MK Annihilation? I think I remember him being there. Yeah, he's one of the Warriors Ermac summons, and they're both like bitch-slapping Sonya Blade. Like the fetish in the mud fight. Dana, he played Melina. I was kind of surprised it didn't save on money and have Talisa Soto played Melina, because Melina is supposed to be Katana's evil clone sister, but no, they didn't do any backstory research on half the characters. They did take it too far when they had Sonya and Melina fight in the mud. The riders are horn dogs. Hey, have you ever played MK9? It is subtle in comparison. It's a shame Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. never showed Daphne Blake fight Alice May in the mud, but no. And probably wouldn't fly, that was too far, even for the animators on that show. Baraka was so useless in Annihilation. Yeah, he shows up, tries to behead Liu Kang, only to get killed and kicked down in the exact repeat death scene as Rain. Yeah, they were so cheap, they had the same footage of Rain falling down the death pit twice for him and Baraka, who didn't even look like him. Shiva, I would also argue, had a really lame death. She tries to ambush Katana and Liu Kang, only to get crushed by the birdcage Katana was in, and that's what kills her. Yeah, some really lame death scenes all around. Johnny Cage gets neck snapped and Punk killed. Jade is actually really cool. She's like a femme fatale, tries to seduce Liu Kang, nearly breaks up his trust with his friends and betrays them, only to get eaten by a bad CGI dragon courtesy of Shao Kahn. Smoke gets blown up. Cyrax fights in the biolab, gets blown up. Scorpion kind of awkwardly disappears. He abducts Kitana, says, "Sucker!" And we never see him again. Noob Saibot is like a brainwashed slave working for Ermac. Rain actually says that he killed Cabal and Stryker, and because they didn't beg for mercy, Shao Kahn kicks him down a flaming pit. Yeah, that'll show you, Rain, for being a successful worker in my squad. Also, we never solved the mystery of what the creature Baraka he was supposed to be. He's literally a man covered in spikes and his mouth is entirely covered in teeth. What creature is he? Supposed to be a Tarkatan, but that never comes up in the movie. Johnny got screwed in that movie, absolutely. Like, they couldn't just write him out. No, they full-blown kill him off, so guess they didn't want to have him come back in MK3 if this movie was a success. Like, Masueda Vander played Sindel, also Theodora Van Sloan in Transylmania, and she's Mantis in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay, glad she got work. And Elanius in Xena Warrior Princess. Yeah, Sindel, definitely a sexy MILF if you're curious. Sindel is pretty. Like, all the girls in this are very pretty. Talisa Soto's, Katana, Sindel, Sonya Blade, Jade, who was definitely the fan service character. They were all pretty hot. Scorpion and Sub-Zero were wasted on that movie. Yeah, they were. They go from minions serving Shang Tsung into cameos. Sub-Zero's brother comes in, revealing that he's a good guy, and I guess he forgave Liu Kang for murdering his brother and turning him into Noob Saibot, because he helps them fight evil warriors, and I believe they kill Sector or one of the robots. They fight them. We do get to see Talisa Soto wield those cool knife fan blades. I love Katana's super fans. Those are my favorite weapon, too. Yeah, she actually gets to wield them and fight. Katana gets taken captive. They have to save her. They try to save Sindel, only to reveal that she's brainwashed and the brainwashing is too strong, leading to, what else? A big-ass fight scene in the middle of an apocalypse. They, like, fight in this weird destroyed temple ruins, and all the characters who are still alive have a big fight scene. Liu Kang is taught by Nightwolf to master his animality. Yeah, that's how we're introducing the special moves. Liu Kang mastered his animality to become a dragon, and he fights Shao Kahn as a Hydra. Yeah, kind of weird. They have a big-ass fight scene. Raiden dies. He gets punk killed too in the final battle. Liu Kang and Shao Kahn exchange blows, finally fights. Katana fights her evil mother. Jax fights Motaro in another garbage CGI fight scene. And Sonya handles Ermac, who she calls leftovers. It's like, really? Ermac is leftovers. Ermac is the souls of many. He is a badass, but yeah, Sonya Blade fights Ermac, and Ermac summons Noob Saibot at one point for a cameo. It's, once again, a whole lot of action. I wouldn't complain if there wasn't an abundance of trash CGI which ruined it. Yeah, the first 90s movies was a fun classic, but Annihilation was just trash, yeah. It is. You missed the first one, Shadowlink. It's on Flawless Victory because it's awesome. Like, why can't they hire Sindel's actress be Daphne Blake in the movie Mystery Inc. or Mystery Begins? Well, I guess they thought the other girl looked prettier. Oh, and she was a crawler in Birds of Prey. It was a straight-to-DVD success. Yeah, it was. Also, remember Melina was shipped with Baraka. Proof was in MKX. What would it look like if they kiss? A lot of tongue flying everywhere and a lot of teeth covering everything. Rainer Schoen played Shinnok, was also Optimus Prime in the German dub of the Transformers movies. And the father, Jared. Oh, that's fun casting. I would have loved to see Jean-Claude Van Damme as Johnny Cage. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I preferred Lyndon Ashby. The other guy was okay for like the 5 seconds he had before he was neck snapped. But yeah, Lyndon Ashby is definitely the best live-action Johnny Cage. Hopefully Carl Urban will do a good job. So, as I said, big-ass fight scene. They turn into bad CGI giant kaiju, and Shao Kahn is killed, Shinnok is sent into the Phantom Zone, Sindel is freed of her brainwashing, and I think Ermac and Motaro also died. Not sure I can kill Ermac when he's a zombie made of souls, but yeah, they're defeated and fatality'd. And this time for good, the world is saved. And there's actually no drops for a sequel bait in this movie, but it leads to the ending, which is pretty nice. Liu Kang and Katana sharing that big damn kiss because Katana is the one for him. Even though it felt like Jade was definitely a much better partner for him. But yeah, Liu Kang and Katana hook up and bring peace back to Earthrealm, now ready to fight if trouble ever happens again. Not sure if they were going to bring in Onaga in the third movie, but yeah, that's how it ends, and yeah, this was disappointing. This movie, it was a mess. It was very clunky, very bloated, way too many characters, and they do a disservice to 90% of these characters. Most of them just show up to die, bad CGI, bad fight choreography, bad effects, and a really clunky storytelling. They did not do a good job adapting MK2 and 3, and even parts of 4. Most of the characters don't even look like their counterparts, and yeah, the movie is a real dud. There's no heart, there's no soul. It is one of the worst video game movies of all time. So yeah, it's going down here. It's official, you suck. I'm kind of disappointed that The Miz should have been Johnny Cage in the upcoming movie, just saying. The only thing that saved MK Annihilation was the soundtrack. Well, I would also argue the hot characters. There's hot chicks for the guys and really buff dudes for the girls. So definitely a sexy cast, but yeah, not worth watching. Annihilation is trash. Fatality did. Alright, so let's do the next live-action Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat 2021, the reboot, the recent MK movie now getting a sequel. This one, I will be putting on to cool. Yeah, might be a bit of a controversial opinion. This movie has gained a mixed reception from fans. Some love it, others hate it, others find it very meh. I actually thought it was decent. Not one of the best things ever, but very decent. This is the reboot movie, Mortal Kombat 2021, an actual R-rated adaptation of the Mortal Kombat story, and technically not based on any of the games. It is a quote-unquote prologue movie introducing people to the world of Mortal Kombat and the iconic cast of characters. This one is alright, plenty to like with some flaws. Okay, Shadowlink, that is kind of the reception it had. That reboot was pretty good. I didn't like the ending, though. Underwhelming, yeah. We get Cole Young, who is agreed to be the worst character in this franchise. Cole Young is not a Mortal Kombat character. He's an original character acting as an audience surrogate introduced in this movie, basically learning about the franchise's lore and mythos, and through him, the audience is supposed to relate with him as the generic everyman, the normal guy, normal everyday life, dragged into this crazy, bloodthirsty world of Mortal Kombat. He is the descendant of Scorpion, and we find out a bunch of warriors are being selected to enter the Mortal Kombat tournament. Spoilers, we do not see an actual tournament. This is kind of a prologue movie. It's like the episode 1, it's a setup movie. We're setting up everything, introducing the characters first. The tournament is coming in the sequel, I believe. They made Scorpion a badass killer. Yeah, he is. And we get Black Ranger Asian Zack. Yeah, he's in this movie. He plays Liu Kang. They made Reptile a man lizard. It was really cool. Yeah, he looked like the MK1 version of Reptile. So we do meet an abundance of characters, a lot of fight scenes. Basically, Liu Kang and Raiden need to select the chosen Dragon Warriors and train them for the Mortal Kombat tournament. However, somebody is going around assassinating the chosen warriors. These warriors are branded with like a dragon tattoo and are being hunted down by unseen killers. We find out it's Shang Tsung trying to do Shao Kahn's dirty work and taking out the competition before the tournament even starts. Liu Kang and Raiden try to go on a quest to find them and train them into becoming Earthrealm champions. So, the real Mortal Kombat characters we meet Liu Kang, we meet Raiden, we meet Kung Lao, who, spoiler alert, dies. Yeah, once again, I can never enjoy Kung Lao because he keeps getting killed and everything. Yeah, Kung Lao's one of the teachers. We meet Sonya Blade, Jax. Jax gets his arms frozen and broken by Sub-Zero. Cole Young, tragically, is one of the main characters. And Kano, who actually gets a villain origin story in this. Yeah, Kano actually starts out as a good guy. And, like everyone, I do agree, Kano is easily the most entertaining of the main cast. Kano's actually pretty funny. He's like this blue-collar, snarky guy who is like making jokes and quips at all this stupid stuff and reacting appropriately to the dumb Mortal Kombat antics. The villains we meet are Shang Tsung. The boss fight is technically Sub-Zero, who's not even blue. It is Noob Saibot. He's Sub-Zero. He's an undead ghost Sub-Zero. And I believe Natara is also in this. We see like Natara for like a few seconds, then she gets killed. And Cabal. I actually did kind of like Cabal because you think he's like gonna be this weird supernatural guy. And he's like, wait, is one of them some asshole named Kano? And he's like talking like this regular average Joe. I did find that kind of funny. And Reptile, he's also one of the goons. They made him this like cool Killer Croc looking monster. And Goro is a twist villain in this. We meet Goro later in the movie, but he's one of the head goons working for Shang Tsung. Yeah, Kung Lao really isn't safe in the films or the games of story modes, lol. It really hurts me to see Kung Lao get killed all the time. He died in the 90s movie, he dies in this movie, he dies in Defenders of the Realm, he dies in MK9, and he dies again in MK11. Kung Lao cannot catch a break. I'm very certain he's also gonna die in MK2. Played G.I. Samurai and Takeda Katsusuri. I thought it was hilarious that Jax has T-Rex arms, lol. Hiroku Sanada played Scorpion. Yeah, he was pretty cool. Scorpion is in this movie, but they try to tease that Cole Young is going to become the new age Scorpion. Don't worry, he's not. Scorpion's just hiding somewhere, undergoing his origin with Quan Chi off screen. Yeah, we do see the opening, how Sub-Zero murders Scorpion's entire clan, which is kind of weird. They're like speaking Chinese and in a Japanese world or something like that. They like accidentally swapped languages. It is really dumb, but Hey, it's just a dumb action movie. Sub-Zero killed Scorpion's family and vowed to kill his entire bloodline. Scorpion is technically the real villain of this movie. He's kind of the heavy, doing all of Shang Tsung's bidding as his right-hand man. He's the one who's after Cole, almost murders his family at one point. Sub-Zero is more so the main villain, while Shang Tsung is in the back like Emperor Palpatine, controlling all the strings, puppeting everyone. But it turns out Shang Tsung is working for Shao Kahn because, yeah, obviously, if you played a Mortal Kombat story, you know the twist. He also played Shen Lao in Dark Knight and Frank Chen in Arrow. Chris Han is Shang Tsung. Yeah, Scorpion is pretty badass in this movie. Yeah, Jax is in this movie. He's one of the main characters. He gets his arms frozen by Sub-Zero and broken, so he can get the cool cyborg arms. They do have Sonya Blade in this movie too, but honestly, Sonya felt kind of like a side character. She gets an arc where she wasn't selected to be a Dragon Warrior and has to prove that she is worthy. It's kind of a you go girl story that she's a strong, independent woman, and I honestly found it kind of BS. Why wasn't Sonya selected? That would pretty much save us all this time and dumb effort, but yeah. I thought it would be a meta in one of the movies that Kung Lao says, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." I would have rather preferred, "Oh my god, they killed Kung Lao! You bastards!" Also, Duma the Sumo in Minions, and Ahiko in Avengers Endgame. I'll have to see him in that again. Jessica McNamee played Sonya Blade. Oh, and Raiko's there. I forgot Raiko was there. Yeah, sorry, most of them just show up to die anyway. Almost all of Shang Tsung's villain posse dies in this movie, making you question who's exactly going to be fighting for Shao Kahn's side when the tournament actually happens. Yeah, Kung Lao can't catch a break. Love Kung Lao. I wish he would be a main character for once. Well, we got him in Conquest, but he died there too in the series finale. Yeah, Goro's there. He doesn't show up until the final act. I assume that after Shao Kahn was defeated, Johnny would be brought back to life. I wish. Isn't Quan Chi the one who killed Scorpion's family in one of the movies and in the games? Yeah, he's supposed to be, but the movie made it Sub-Zero. I'm certain the sequel is gonna retcon this, but yeah, Quan Chi was the real one behind that. We would get a more accurate depiction of Scorpion's origin later here. But we're on the 2021 movie. So, a lot of training montages. One of the best scenes I loved is when they're training the warriors and they're spamming the trip move on Kano. Yeah, they're like kicking from under him like the rolling kick, and they keep knocking him down and tripping him. He gets back up and keeps getting knocked down like a spam attack. I love that joke. That was the funniest moment in the entire movie. Also, don't you remember Shang Tsung said they'll come back in the sequel, this loopholes? Yeah. Shang Tsung was the perfect casted character. Him and Kano, most definitely. At least there's a Shaolin Monks where you can play both Liu Kang and Kung Lao in an underrated gem. Yeah, that was pretty cool, but they do try to replace Liu Kang in that one, I think. Okay, so they basically train them, they fight, Kano turns to the dark side, sells out to Outworld, and helps Shang Tsung invade their temple, trying to terminate all the warriors. Cole's family gets abducted, and in easily the most unforced moment, he has to fight Goro. Yeah, Goro shows up. He never talks once. He basically fights Cole Young in a fist fight, Mortal Kombat style, in order to save his wife and kid. And Goro dies. Yeah, Cole fights him, unlocks his inner Mortal Kombat strength, and Goro is killed before appearing in the actual tournament. Yeah, they're gonna be setting up a lot of the Mortal Kombat 2 characters in the sequel. Yeah, Goro gets punk killed, he never once talks, we never learn his backstory, and if you're new to the Mortal Kombat universe, they never tell you who he is, so as far as people know, he's just some mindless jobber who dies. And do you ever notice how vulgar Kano can be? Well, he was like that in the old movie, too. Mehad Brooks also played Jax, was the Guardian in Supergirl CW. Ugh, I'm sorry. And Doug in The Magic of the Guardian. The musical version. Okay. Sonya Blade fights Kano, and they become arch enemies in this. Yeah, Kano quote unquote dies, but I think they're gonna bring him back. She basically gouges his eye out with a lawn gnome, and it's implied this is how Kano's gonna get his cybernetic eye. Yeah, I don't think he's dead. I think he's still alive. He's beaten by Sonya. Sonya gets the stupid dragon tattoo to become a dragon warrior, and we're led to believe Kano died. He's impaled by a lawn gnome at her garbage trailer park, and yeah, Kano's gonna get his cybernetics in the next appearance he makes. Most likely Mortal Kombat 3 if the second one does good, but yeah, Kano's KO'd. Kung Lao gets punk killed. He didn't kill Natara, but really wanted to see Natara in a movie. Kung Lao is the only hero who dies because that's what always happens. And Sub-Zero tries to kill Cole. He nearly succeeds, but then, out of nowhere, out of sheer random, Scorpion shows up and kills Sub-Zero. Yeah, there is no build-up, no foreshadowing, no hints at this. The ghost of Scorpion rises from the grave and murders Sub-Zero, implying that this is the first Sub-Zero. He's going to become Noob Saibot in a future sequel. And yeah, we find out Cole and Scorpion are related, and he says to Cole that he'll protect his family at whatever the cost, and he might see him again in the future. And basically it leads on a hero's rise and they're ready for future battles type of ending, and it is kind of clunky, very underwhelming and messy, and this was all basically a first chapter to an entire franchise they want to tell. We didn't even get to a Mortal Kombat tournament. All the heroes win, they're victorious. Shang Tsung flees and warns Shao Kahn that these Earthrealm warriors are tough, where he hints that he's going to bring in the heavy hitters from the games in the actual tournament. I want to see Nightwolf in the upcoming movie. Yeah, a lot. I want to see a lot of characters. Joe Tolson played Sub-Zero. Yeah, Sub-Zero dies in this, and it's implied he's going to become Noob Saibot. He, wears black all throughout the movie rather than blue, so yeah, it's obvious they are hinting at that. So, we are going to get a sequel this year, I believe. They have announced a ton of characters. We see Shao Kahn's going to be in it, Sindel will be in it, my favorite Katana will be in it, Jade will be in it, but given a god-awful redesign. Yeah, look up photos of how Jade looks in the sequel. She does not look good. They made Jade look like friggin' Jada Pinkett Smith. Real hideous. Nightwolf was a werewolf. That would be pretty cool. They also say Johnny Cage is coming in the next movie, played by Judge Dredd himself, Karl Urban. So, I like Karl Urban, but as a lot of people pointed out, he should have been Kano, which I can kind of see. He did look like him. Yeah, Karl Urban will be Johnny Cage in the sequel, and they do tease that Cole is gonna go recruit Johnny Cage for the Earthrealm tournament. Dom Toretto is going to be a part of the Sub-Zero family. Joe Taslim played Sub-Zero. Okay, so I don't like the character of Cole. He's just really boring, very flat, one-dimensional, and we don't need him as an audience surrogate because, as a lot of people point out, Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade are supposed to be the audience surrogates. They're like the people who've never seen the Mortal Kombat magic and crazy antics of the tournament before. They're the normal people we're supposed to see this great and insane magic through, and Cole just will feel very superfluous once Johnny Cage enters the ring. That is, if they kill him off in the sequel. Is Nightwolf a werewolf? No, but he can turn into one. It's his animal spirit. His animality. 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 Also, Quan Chi is going to be in the sequel, so it's hinted he's going to bring back a Noob Saibot, and we're going to get a whole lot more Scorpion. I love me some Katana, so I'm looking forward to seeing her, seeing Sindel, Shao Kahn. Jade, I am not liking what I've seen. She does not look very good. Johnny Cage is going to be in it, and honestly, I was kind of looking forward to seeing Karl Urban as Cage, but I'm afraid they might kill him off to keep Cole as the main character. That's my biggest fear. Nightwolf is literally Skips from regular show. Yeah, he is. Like I'm glad he didn't show in the game as DLC since Ghostface in MK1 is weird. Yeah, seeing Freddy Krueger in MK9 was weird, okay? It's just funny seeing all the slasher killers in Mortal Kombat. Okay, so to wrap up, this movie is alright. It's decent, it's fun, it's got a lot of fun moments. It does a good job introducing you to the wide cast these stories usually have, a lot of the lore and backstory, and I will say I am intrigued to see where the story goes from here, though it is kind of hard to ignore a lot of the flaws. It is bloated, it is clunky, and Cole is a very pointless character, and the ending especially is the weakest part of the movie, but I think it was pretty cool. Alright, so now let's move on to the animated movies. Yep, we got the Mortal Kombat Legends saga. So, to keep the Mortal Kombat name relevant and attracting new fans, Warner Brothers Animation decided to do a ton of direct-to-video content with Mortal Kombat characters. Kind of like DC's direct-to-video stuff, but with the MK universe. We got all 4 of them here. Currently there are 4. I heard there was supposed to be more. I was hoping Katana would get one. MK Legends Fall of Edenia was rumored and teased, but nothing ever came of it. So we do have the 4 that are currently released. So let's start with the good one, MK Legends Scorpion's Revenge. Yeah, he's literally skips. Like, why can't I have a blonde actor as Johnny Cage since he feels like a cool striker than Johnny Cage? Yeah. Alright, so let's start with the animated feature, Scorpion's Revenge. A movie that's about Scorpion's origin, and partially an adaptation of MK1 through Scorpion's POV. So, Scorpion's Revenge going on to flawless victory. Yeah, let's put it up where you all want to see it. It is a good movie. It is fun. It is very creative, and everybody loves Scorpion, especially because they got Patrick Seitz, the OG Scorpion voice actor, to come back in the role. Well, nice to see the Legends continue on. Unlike the Mythologies games, Mythology Sub-Zero was dead on arrival. Yeah, it was. Patrick Seitz played Scorpion. Yeah, he plays Scorpion in MK9, X, and I believe 11 was the last one he did the voice. It is very great seeing him come back. Oh, also Injustice, how can I forget? Patrick Seitz is really awesome as Scorpion, so this is basically the undead assassin's origin story. We see Scorpion's life, how he loved and cared for a family, how he lived with the Shia Ryu clan, how they were once a peaceful ninja society until the Lin Kuei invaded and slaughtered his family. He lost his son, he lost his supportive hot wife, he lost his entire clan, his neighbors and loved ones. Everyone in the Shia Ryu clan is dead. They were murdered by Sub-Zero and the Lin Kuei. Actually, Quan Chi in disguise, but that twist comes later. Scorpion was beaten by Sub-Zero and left for dead, where he died and vowed he would get revenge on the man who ruined his life and his entire family and clan, where Quan Chi steps in and says, "Oh, if you make a deal with me, I can do that for you. I can make you a stronger undead warrior to avenge this atrocity." And Quan Chi and Scorpion form their unholy alliance and become a team where they plan to fight in the Mortal Kombat tournament because Sub-Zero is entering this tournament fighting in it. Yeah, it turns out this movie is happening at the same time as MK1, but we're seeing it through Scorpion's POV. Scorpion is the main protagonist in this movie, and we're seeing MK1 play out through his perspective. Yeah, Scorpion's Revenge is awesome. They also killed a kid on screen. Yep, the Legends movies all R-rated, all the blood, gore, violence, and hot characters fully in this animated saga. Yeah, they are going in with the gloves off in this one. It is a hardcore R-rated movie and really love it. Sometimes the animation can get very absurd and over the top, but for Mortal Kombat, it does kind of fit. I haven't watched the animated movies, so I have to watch them in order, or is there a specific order to watch them in? Well, you do have to see Scorpion's Revenge before Battle of the Realms. This one is a sequel to the first movie, but the other two, Snowblind and Johnny Cage, those are spin-offs. Those are spin-off standalone stories. You don't have to see these two. Scorpion's Revenge is the one you do have to see before watching Battle of the Realms. Yeah, Patrick Side's awesome Scorpion. Scorpion's Revenge was awesome. Endeavor on My Hero Academia, Dio Brando and JoJo Bizarre's Adventures, and he was Claw in Marvel Future Adventures. Oh, and Thor. Yeah, Patrick Side's got a really badass voice. And he was Etrigan from Justice League Action. That is funny casting there. Scorpion really hates Sub-Zero, a rivalry that continues even in the afterlife. Yes, it does. Adamus in Record of Ragnarok. Okay, he was also in that. Okay, so Scorpion's a really badass character. We see him master his skills. We see him undergo his origin story. We see him fight in the tournament. However, this is also partially MK1 being adapted. They go to Shang Tsung's island tournament where they're trying to save Earthrealm. Scorpion enters, basically, I think, to defend he defends Earthrealm, but he's really from a different realm. A realm that's been wiped out, but he's trying to get revenge on Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is in this tournament fighting too, but we also meet Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, and Johnny Cage. And Jax is here. Jax gets his arms ripped off by Goro. Shang Tsung is hosting the tournament. They kind of have two villains, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Quan Chi is the twist villain. Not really, you can kind of see it coming a mile away, or especially if you actually know the story. But yeah, Quan Chi's kind of a twist villain. But yeah, kind of two villains here, playing behind the scenes, planning events, orchestrating stuff in their favor. Shang Tsung is being built up to. He's old man Shang Tsung at this point. He's working for Shao Kahn, trying to eliminate the Earthrealm Doers. Kind of the first movie is happening at the same time as Scorpion's Revenge. I wouldn't call it an interquill, but kind of in between events that the main characters are going through. We do meet Raiden in this. I do like Raiden's voice actor in this. And he was Overlord in Transformers Combiner War. Ugh, nobody likes Combiner Wars. And he was in The Power of the Primes. Jordan Rodriguez is Liu Kang. Really? They got a Hispanic guy to play him. Was Kung Lao in the animated movies, and does he die if he's in it? Kung Lao's in the sequel, and yes, he does die. Yeah, we don't meet too many characters in this, just the basic ones. We do meet Goro, we meet Sub-Zero, we meet, Kitana does cameo in this. Kitana fights Liu Kang. It's hinted that she develops a crush on him. Liu Kang fights Kitana, spares her life, and we're hinting at the romance between them. We do see Kano's in this. I believe he does die at the end of this movie, and Quan Chi and Shang Tsung are the real villains of this. Goro is the final boss who Liu Kang has to beat. Liu Kang actually fails to beat Goro. Scorpion shows up. He finds out the truth that Sub-Zero was not the man who murdered his family. Scorpion murders Sub-Zero, then finds out late this is not the guy who actually killed his family. It was Quan Chi all along. Yeah, Scorpion gets brutalized and thrown down the spike pit from MK, and for no reason at all, Quan Chi shows up to start monologuing. Yeah, Quan Chi villain monologues and says, "It was I who killed your family. I shaped you into my perfect champion, but now you're of no use to me." Yeah, he failed him in the tournament, and Quan Chi kind of leaves him for dead. Except not really when you remember he's an undead zombie. Scorpion survives the MK pit, comes back and basically punk kills Goro, demanding a challenge against Quan Chi for being the real backstabbing bastard who killed his clan. Kung Lao needs to avoid being a character in the movies. He doesn't have a good ending. Yeah, poor Kung Lao. Remember the live-action MK series? In case you don't know, there is a live-action series. I think it was called Conquest. That doesn't have blood or gore, but does have a lot of hot women and horny moments. Yeah, that is Conquest. Kung Lao is the main character. And guess what, Monica? In Mortal Kombat Conquest, Kung Lao dies. Yeah, in the series finale, all the heroes get killed as Raiden is forced to watch, and there was never a sequel to this series, so yeah, Kung Lao even died in the TV show. Yeah, that kind of took this one from one of the endings in MK4. Yeah, they kind of did. So Quan Chi reveals that he was the evil bastard all along. Quan Chi tries to betray Shang Tsung in order to become the new second in command, but Shang Tsung's not an idiot and saw him try to poison his drink. And Shang Tsung kind of outsmarts Quan Chi by forcing Quan Chi to accept a challenge when Scorpion comes in. And we get the big final fight, Scorpion versus Quan Chi. And Quan Chi almost wins, but he does get killed. Scorpion proves to be better than him because he's empowered by the love of his family. And Quan Chi dies, making the story kind of confusing how it was gonna play out without Quan Chi there. But yeah, Quan Chi dies, Shang Tsung runs away, and the Earth Realm wins the tournament. They saved the day, but really only only delayed the inevitable. They won the tournament, however Shao Kahn's not giving up and is gonna try and use loopholes to win. Shang Tsung gets basically beaten in his place by Shao Kahn, who's pissed off that he failed him, leading to a sequel. Scorpion gets his revenge, but at a lot of cost, and the heroes return victorious and basically underwent the character development they underwent in the live-action movie. Yeah, Liu Kang accepts his role as Chosen One, Sonya Blade becomes nicer, Johnny Cage becomes humble, and we hint that there's gonna be more battles on the horizon. This movie, honestly pretty good. Really like it. It's fun. It's awesome. If you're a fan of Scorpion, you will love how he's portrayed in this movie. There's a lot of tributes to great Mortal Kombat stuff from the games or the good stories, and really like Patrick Seitz as Scorpion. He carries this entire movie. Quan Chi curses, I've been foiled by the power of love. Also, Steve Bloom played Sub-Zero. He plays him both times as Noob Saibot and Baihan. Kung Lao's training was a waste of time. Good, Kung Lao is Kung Lao is cursed. Who played Stalker in G.I. Joe? Dave B. Mitchell was Raiden. Okay. Yeah, Joel McHale plays Johnny Cage, and honestly, he does a pretty good job. He actually made Johnny Cage his own. So, and I think it wasn't Eliza Dushku, it was Jennifer Morrison plays Sonya Blade. She was Catwoman on Batman Hush. An interesting role choice, but yeah, I thought she was pretty fine. Johnny Cage was at least funny. I do like Liu Kang in this. Raiden's voice actor, really good. Grey DeLisle plays Katana, and she plays my favorite Catwoman, so as you can imagine, she plays my favorite MK girl very well, too. I know it's basically her Azula voice, but it is pretty sexy. Okay, so wrap up. Scorpion's Revenge, it is pretty good. It's fun, it's kick-ass. Got a very good animation, and Patrick Seitz as Scorpion is the biggest selling point on this, and I do think they delivered a flawless victory. But after came the sequel, Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms, and oh boy, if you thought Annihilation was a mess, this one adapts MK's 2, 3, and 4, all in the span of an hour and 12-minute movie. So, this movie is pretty messy, but not gonna lie, I do kind of like it. It's not a masterpiece, but this one might put on to cool. Yeah, I know, another controversial opinion incoming. I actually thought this one had some decent moments, and honestly, if it ended early at a certain point, I do think this would have been a very passable Mortal Kombat movie. Unfortunately, the final act is what people had a problem with the most, and yeah, I do see why. He played Johnny Cage, also played Defendant in Bill Nye the Science Guy, and Orson Rudd in the Twilight Zone 2020 episode 8. Ah, Wolf is coming up on that one. Okay, this is not Defenders, Battle of the Realms. This one is the invasion of Earthrealm. So, Shao Kahn is abusing a loophole, constantly sending waves of armies to invade Earthrealm. And we meet all the heroes. This time, a lot of new characters come in. The main character this time is Liu Kang. Yeah, appropriately, Liu Kang is finally the hero in the spotlight. We also have Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade coming back. Jax is back with his robot arms. He's now not just an ordinary strongman. Curtis Stryker, played by Matthew Mercer again, if you can believe it or not. Yeah, really cool seeing Mercer in this movie. And Kung Lao is in this movie, and don't worry, he will be dead by the halfway point. And now Raiden is getting actively involved. They're the heroes trying to stop Shao Kahn's invasion, and we meet the classic villains working under Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is now the main villain, Shang Tsung returns, Scorpion returns, Sub-Zero now passes the mantle on to Baihan. Baihan is the new Sub-Zero. We meet Smoke, Sector, and Cyrax. They become the Cyborg ninjas. We do meet Kitana's in this. Jade is in this for like 5 seconds, then she dies. I believe Sindel is in this like 5 seconds before she dies. And Devora is unfortunately in this. Yeah, was not glad to see Devora even making a cameo. And basically a whole bunch of villains have to fight them. Raiden and Shao Kahn come to an impasse where they make a deal with the Elder Gods, fighting a tournament of Mortal Kombat over the safety of Earthrealm. If the Earth Warriors win, then their realm is spared and Shao Kahn can't invade. But if Shao Kahn wins, he's gonna destroy the Earth. It's good to see Ganondorf from... It's good to see Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda in MK, lol. Oh, he was also Martian Manhunter. Okay, good to know. It was fine in the very beginning. I think it should have ended with Shao Kahn and saved the rest for the sequels. Yeah, the Shinnok stuff is where things got messy. Yeah, Matthew Mercer, he was also Tigra in the anime Thundercats. And Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil, up until the remakes. Okay, so the biggest reason why people did not like this movie, there is a lot of storylines and plot points. We have Scorpion back as a main character again. Scorpion has to stop the revival of Shinnok. Shinnok is trying to escape from hell and invade all the realms. He's trying to conquer the universe. Shinnok is Shao Kahn's dad, and he's having his son basically distract the Earth Warriors by doing this tournament. So, we have 2 villains, Shao Kahn and Shinnok, and we have 2 heroes, Liu Kang and Scorpion, who are both on their own adventures. And we also introduce Baihan Sub-Zero. He's trying to avenge his brother Noob Saibot's death. However, his clan has turned to the dark side. They are forcing the Cyber Initiative on their warriors, and his bro Smoke is turned into one. And the cyborgs are helping Shinnok try and steal this amulet to use as a key to unlock him outside of hell, not knowing it's Shinnok who's gonna come and conquer all the realms. And he was Deadshot in Injustice 2. I did not know that. Okay. They should have made Shao Kahn a dragon human. They should have made him look like the version of him in MK11. They kind of did, but they took a lot of MK9 inspiration for him. Kitana sadly doesn't look like her MK9 version. Jade does, but Kitana looks more like her MKX version. You all know I love Kitana. She is my favorite MK girl. Grey DeLisle plays her, so that's a big plus for me that the best Catwoman voices her. Kitana undergoes a redemption arc. She falls in love with Liu Kang. I do like that they made fun of the scene where she tries to usurp Shao Kahn. She's like about to fatality Raiden, then stabs her father in the gut and says that, oh, she's the queen now. But it turns out Shao Kahn like faked her out and beats her ass. That was kind of hilarious. Oh, and he was Luke Skywalker in Battlefront 2. Also, the beginning, yeah, Shaggy, Ultra Instinct Shaggy cameos in this. He grabs Scorpion and says, like, get over here. Yeah, Scorpion's, like, in the logo. And he grabs him. Yeah, that was Matthew Lillard too. They got him to cameo as Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Kind of shocked he didn't like make a cameo in the background of the movie, but whatever. So, it is paying tribute to a lot of the backstory and lore of the Mortal Kombat games, and that's kind of why I like this movie. These are moments that work, but it's kind of in a Mortal Kombat Chronicles show kind of way. Like, these could have worked. The Shao Kahn stuff is good. The stuff with Shinnok, that's where it gets messy. Yeah, we're also introducing Sub-Zero in this movie. He's not in the tournament. He's trying to track down Scorpion to kill him to avenge his dead brother, while the Cyborg ninjas are trying to get Scorpion to unlock the portal of hell to release Shinnok. And there's a lot of chase scenes between them. Sub-Zero undergoes his redemption arc. It's a little better than Kitana's. Kitana does just fall in love with Liu Kang and tries to help him, sides with him. The heroes are fighting in the Earth tournament, and yes, Kung Lao dies. Kung Lao fights Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn uses his own hat against him and then rips him in half. I think this is like his most brutal death too. Characters for the next MK game: Carnage, Venom, Alucard, Helsing, Ash, Predator, Dijin, the Wishmaster, and Doflamingo. We did get Predator. Predator is an MKX. I wouldn't mind him coming back again, but yeah, he was in a Mortal Kombat title. We got Freddy, we got Jason, we got Leatherface. We did get Ghostface eventually. I think we were supposed to get Pinhead at one point. I'm not sure if he did come, but yeah. Ash Williams was going to be in it, but the copyright kind of sued them. Matthew Yang King played Kung Lao. Yeah, Tunnel Rat from G.I. Joe Renegades. Shame he got killed. Missed opportunity to not include Michael Myers. That would have been cool. They almost had Negan, but Tekken already took him. Yeah, I really would have loved to see him. We did get Alien. Love seeing the Xenomorph and Predator duking out in the same game. We did get the Terminator. Unfortunately, Dark Fate's Terminator. We got like the old Arnold, and it's not even Schwarzenegger. It's Chris Cox doing an impression. I did like RoboCop. RoboCop was cool. Unfortunately, I did not like seeing the Joker in MK11. I know Richard Epcar also voices Raiden, so it was easy to get him, and Injustice 2 was on top of the charts back then, but yeah, Joker eventually made it into MK11. Now we got Omni-Man and Homelander. I've never seen The Boys before in my life, so I don't know much about Homelander. Got Ghostface, got Conan the Barbarian, which I was honestly kind of shocked to see. Like, does anybody even remember the Conan films? There was that god-awful Jason Momoa movie, which didn't do well. Oh, and the T-1000 came in. I actually was excited to play as him the most. Yeah, they never got Michael Myers, which is a shame because that's when the David Gordon Green trilogy was out. I had this idea for a fatality move for either Kitana or Jade, where one of the women killed their opponents with their weapons, but here's the deal. They use their feet to hold on to their weapons. Might work for Jade because she uses her staff as like a stripper pole in some scenes. Also, Fright Rider from Skylanders Trap Team. Fright Rider was in Giant. Oh, and he was the Shredder in Splintered Fate. They should add Star Killer from Star Wars in the upcoming MK games. Here's the problem with that. Star Killer is for Star Wars. Star Wars is currently owned by Disney. Mortal Kombat is taking characters from Warner Brothers and Fox Studios own properties. Because Disney is a rival, they're not allowing them to cross over. It's kind of why we never got to see SpongeBob in Mortal Kombat. Homelander is blonde, evil Superman clone. I do know that. I've seen all the memes of him and people talk about him. I've never actually watched The Boys show, so I wasn't as hyped to see Anthony Starr coming to voice him. I do know Omni-Man, because how does anyone not know Invincible by that point? The Conan movie series was a fun watch. Okay. And he was Doomslayer. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, back to the movie. Basically, they're repeating the first Mortal Kombat 2, 3, and 4. Basically, it's their plot lines. So, they manage to defeat Shao Kahn. Liu Kang accepts his role as Chosen One, unlocks his inner strength, and beats Shao Kahn's ass. Kung Lao does die, and Stryker dies, but wasn't anyone really sad to see Stryker go? He's like the worst Mortal Kombat character. Well, aside next to Chronica, of course, but yeah, Stryker dies too by Shang Tsung. Liu Kang manages to win. They win the tournament, but it's not over yet because at the last 15 minutes, Shinnok escapes from hell. Shinnok gets the magic amulet, they're able to defeat Scorpion, and Shinnok takes over as the main villain, merging all the realms together so he can conquer them all and bring hell to the galaxy. And yeah, this movie would have been perfectly fine if they stopped at the Shao Kahn story, but no, we have MK4 here in the last 15 minutes, and all the heroes finally unite to defeat Shinnok, and Liu Kang unlocks his chosen Fire God Liu Kang powers and turns into like a giant hologram avatar. It really reminded me of Season 2 of The Legend Korra, the Dark Avatar final fight. They turn into like giant kaiju energy beings and duke it out combat style, and Shinnok and Liu Kang are meeting for the first ever time at this point in the movie, so you really don't feel any emotional weight behind this final fight. Played Talia al Ghul in The Doom That Came to Gotham. Oh, Emily O'Brien. Yeah, she played Jade for like 5 seconds, and then she got punk killed. And Devora was in this. I really wish she wasn't. I want the Ghost from The Ring to be in MK. What would her moveset even be? It felt like they wanted to cram MK4 plot at the last minute in this. That's exactly what they did. It's the end fight of MK4. Liu Kang fights Shinnok and unlocks his animality, turning into a giant dragon, and anticlimactically beats Shinnok's ass. Yeah, Shinnok loses. They save all the realms. Katana turns good. She hooks up with Liu Kang. Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage finally respect each other, and they hook up too. They get the big damn kiss at the movie this time. Jax gets his metal arms. Scorpion and Sub-Zero bury the hatchet and I guess gain a respect for each other. They kind of end their rivalry here and there. Shao Kahn's forces lose, and Shao Kahn and Shinnok are both dead now, so it does kind of make you wonder where their series was gonna go. Again, I suspect Onaga was gonna be in the third story if they did adapt it, but yeah. So, they did it. They saved the galaxy. All the realms are at peace. The Mortal Kombat tournament is over. The villains lost, the heroes win, and we end with, and the adventure continues as the heroes are now united and ready for anything. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. It got painful when the Shinnok stuff kind of took hold. Robin Atkin Downs plays Shinnok. He does a really good voice, but this part of the movie really should have been saved for a sequel. They just wanted to throw everything on screen at once and kind of rushed through a lot. Played Iroh in Nick All-Star Brawl. Yeah, Art Butler played Shang Tsung. Okay. Too many hookups makes you forget that they fight to the death. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Liu Kang and Katana became godlike beings in one of the game and had this eternal romance. It was kind of trippy, but yeah. Yeah, Liu Kang and Katana do become a power couple, and as we know, Sonya and Johnny do have to hook up because they create Cassie Cage, the legacy hero, until MK1 smashed that reset button, but yeah. I do like Johnny and Sonya together. They are pretty cute, but it was a little better on the 90s movie. And I do like Liu Kang and Katana hooking up, even though it is pretty fast. So, honestly, I don't think this movie is that bad. Pretty fun, pretty dumb, fun, mindless action. A lot of love went into it. This is made by people who do understand the story and do have an appreciation for everything Mortal Kombat. They did have a lot of characters in this, but had them organically introduced, had a lot of fun animating it, and honestly, the characters do feel like themselves, and there is a sense of storytelling here which does work. Like, there are solid ideas here. There is a basic idea to have this as a standalone film, which I really appreciate. I was glad there was no sequel hooks in this, and it acted as a complete story. Yeah, it is clunky, there's a lot of rush stuff, and some weird decisions, but I honestly thought it was decent. Not a high-tier movie. Scorpion's Revenge, honestly, way superior, and it is not S-tier, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's just simple, dumb fun for Mortal Kombat fans. Hit too many hookups, yeah, okay, so, yeah, this one, I'll put on to cool, don't worry, the 2021 movie's better, and Scorpion's Revenge and the 90s MK, definitely way better, but this one, it's watchable, it's fun. Alright, so I gotta use my first restroom break, but let's get excited for MK Legends Snowblind. Post your comments on your thoughts about it in the chat or comments below. I'll be right back. Alright, round 2. Let's fight. Are those animated movies recent? Yes, these are. They came out in the 2020s. That's how recent they are. Like, Scorpion's Revenge came out in 2020. Battle of the Realms came out in 2021. This one's like 2022 or 2023. It's a mix of MK Deception, 11, and Alliance. Yeah. Okay, so let's do Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. And this was the only animated movie I did not like. It's going on to Lin Nay. Alright, so there are some people who like this, but this was the first really, really bad one. I'm honestly considering putting it onto You Suck, but the animation is definitely the highlight of this. So, the main protagonist is now Kenshi. We're starting standalone MK Chronicles type of movies. Like, movies that give a spotlight on other Mortal Kombat characters. And this one is about Kenshi, the blind warrior, before he got blind. Like, we get Sasuke's actor as Cobra. Okay, so yeah. This one is kind of an Elseworlds Mortal Kombat story. It is a standalone movie. You do not need to watch the past two. It's giving spotlight to different Mortal Kombat characters. The second one will do Johnny Cage. This one did Kenshi. We're following Kenshi in a different timeline. And yeah, this is kind of why I don't like this movie. We're exploring the Mortal Kombat multiverse. Yes, Mortal Kombat enters the multiverse, and it has been a colossal downward spiral from this point on. I know MKX was bad. Mortal Kombat 11 really sucked at this, and this one continued the suckitude train. It is a messy plot, messy story. It is very difficult to understand what's going on because this is an Elseworld timeline. Make another ranking for Mortal Kombat Annihilation. You Suck. It's too good ranking for that movie. Manny Jacinto is Kenshi. Okay, so yeah, we follow Kenshi. He lives in a timeline where Kano is the ultimate villain. Kano is this evil dictator in this universe who has successfully conquered the Earth realm. Kano is the MK champion. Kano and his gang, the Black Dragon, I believe was their name. Yeah, his dragon gang basically oppress the land and control it Mad Max style. We see Cobra, we see Cabal. Did we see Chameleon? I forgot who the girl one was. Yeah, we see all of Kano's minions. They control the land, and this land needs a hero to help defend it. This old warrior teams up with Kenshi and trains him to become a Mortal Kombat champion and defeat the overpowered Kano. Yes, Black Dragons. Okay, thank you. That was them. The Black Dragons. Do you have the Johnny Cage movie? It's our last one, because we'll end on a positive note. Tremor and Kira. Okay, thank you. I forgot their names. I do not return to this movie often because I did not really like it. It has an interesting story, but it is not very good at telling it. It is a bad execution of this type of story. It's Mortal Kombat enters the multiverse. We find out this is the Kano from his MK11 arcade ending. For those of you who are confused, Mortal Kombat gives all the characters their own unique endings. Most of these endings are, non-canon. They're their victory stories. They're their epilogues on where they are now and what they got. In MK11, it's following what if Kano defeated Kronika. Kronika, the Master of Time, is killed, and Kano took over as the supreme Master God of this universe. And this movie's Kano is that Kano. The Kano who took over the new timeline, who controls the powerful hourglass, who made Cassie and Sonya fight in that foxy boxing match in his ending. Yeah, this is that Kano, and yeah, exactly like the evil Doctor Strange appearing on Multiverse of Madness, it is kind of confusing because you have to watch this other material to understand what's going on in this movie. What would it look like if Shao Kahn has his own movie? Probably a lot of blood on the camera. Courtney Taylor played Kira. Yeah, she was cool. Played Ada Wong in RE Damnation and RE6, and she's Starla on a regular show. Oh, and she's Kalisto in X-Men 97. Cool to know. So, Kenshi listens to this old warrior, trains, and they try to topple the Black Dragon's empire. We find out this old warrior is there's two old warriors. One of them is actually Sub-Zero, and another is Shang Tsung. Yeah, turns out Kano dethroned this universe's Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung is now a tragic anti-hero, I would say. He's now fallen on hard times. He's like a loser hobo now. He helps Kenshi try to topple Kano as petty revenge, really using him to get his old place back. And this other wise old guy having psychic visions is revealed to be Bi-Han Sub-Zero, who's somehow grown a lot older, even though it's implied not a lot of time has passed because Kano's still in his prime. Yeah, Keith Silverstein played Cabal. Hawkmoth is Cabal. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so Kano runs this universe, and Kenshi goes on a journey to finally defeat him and defeat his oppressive regime and topple the Black Dragons. They fight, a lot of fight scenes, a lot of exposition, and we find out the problem with this movie. There is kind of a multiverse aesthetic. We do see Kronika is dead in this universe. Kano converted Kronika's skull into a key, which I found pretty hilarious because Kronika sucks. And Kenshi finds out that they're in an alternate timeline. Kenshi fights Kano. I believe he does get blinded. Kenshi kind of reminds me of Nightwing. He's like this sassy, snarky, noble good guy with a heart of gold deep down. He's kind of a likable character, but ultimately does not feel like the same Kenshi we've been following. Shang Tsung as an anti-hero, I don't trust him at all. Yeah, you really shouldn't. Yeah, Shang Tsung was trying to get back in here and basically steal the power of the timelines for himself. They fight Kano and defeat evil god Kano, and it's implied that he's going to use the hourglass to affect the timelines and make himself a god, and it is very confusing. Not gonna lie, the story is very difficult to explain from this point on. Yeah, we're basically introducing the Chronica hourglass powers and telling you that this is an Elseworld. There are other universes out there, hinting that Kenshi is going to trek across the multiverse. And Shido Samuel in Persona 5, and, yeah, he was also Kirby O'Neil in TMNT 2012. Yeah, surprise, Shang Tsung was untrustworthy, he was trying to get his powers back, and I guess he and Kenshi have this villain respect kind of rivalry, because Shang Tsung and he could have been friends, but not in this timeline, and yeah, it's a mess. I do not like this movie. I barely remember it. I didn't hate it as much as The Journey Begins or Annihilation, but yeah, it's a very confusing mess. Mortal Kombat should never have joined the multiverse stuff because it has completely destroyed the story. They wrote themselves into a corner, and this was their attempt at explaining that, oh, there's multiple other MK universes, don't worry, there's not one continuity, but that just made it harder to follow. Never trust a sorcerer in MK. Yeah, Shang Tsung is the twist villain. It kind of works in the movie, though, because you're not supposed to know this old homeless guy is Shang Tsung. He tells him that, like, halfway in the movie. Never trust an MK sorcerer. Also, Baraka should have his own animated movie too, unless it would just be as bloody as the Shao Kahn one. I think Baraka could work for his own solo flick, but they're never gonna do it because the Tarkatans are very scary creatures. Ron Yan plays Sub-Zero. Yeah, he's an older Sub-Zero. Also played Dr. Zin in Catwoman Hunted. Oh, that was him. Okay. There is a multiverse where Kung Lao is immortal. There's a multiverse where Kung Lao won and saved our realm. Well, Scooby-Doo never did a crossover unless the comics. Probably won't unless it's like a Robot Chicken parody. Yeah, so basically Shang Tsung tries to conquer the multiverse, exactly kind of like his DLC in MK11, but Kenshi's now the hero. He loses his eyes and defeats Shang Tsung, sending him lost somewhere across the multiverse, and I guess he saves this realm and makes it better, and that's kind of the end of the movie. It is a standalone film, but it's opening up the door to, oh yeah, we're gonna have more multiverse style adventures and Elseworlds tales in Mortal Kombat, and honestly, I did not think they needed to explain that to the audience, but yeah, we're gonna have a lot more standalone features, and this one was messy. It's messy, it's very weird, very much badly executed, so it's going on. Lin Nay. Is Baraka the leader of his tribe or their chosen warrior? Probably in one timeline. David Wenham played Kano. Also played Joan Scarfield in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales. Good movie. But too bad this one wasn't. Yeah, Snowblind, not a good movie, especially when you name yourself after a My Little Pony fan flick. But let's end this on a positive note with the final movie so far, MK Legends Cage Match, the movie about Johnny Cage. Yep, Johnny Cage proved to be so popular, they gave him his own standalone movie, telling you basically a life and times adventure of Johnny Cage. This is set before MK1 and kind of showing how Johnny Cage learned of the Outworld and crazy Mortal Kombat shenanigans. So, Cage Match, the last one released so far, going on to Cool. Yeah, I'll put on Cool. Wanted to love it. I thought it was just good, very decent, pretty fun, has its moments, but not what I would call one of the classic entries, but let's end it on a positive note. It is pretty cool. Nice. Also, Power Rangers rejected villain. Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried's last role is in this movie, so more reason to watch it. Okay, so this movie is about Johnny Cage's origin and how he entered the Mortal Kombat universe. We follow Johnny Cage, follow him from his childhood, how he used to be bullied, how he learned karate from a Master Miyagi knockoff, beat up his idiot bullies, and ended up saving a Hollywood agent's life, where the Hollywood agent offered him a job as a stuntman. And from there on, Johnny Cage worked as an amateur stuntman all the way up to Hollywood A-lister, starring on Ninja Mime, Ninja Mime 2, and Ninja Mime 3, silent but deadly. Yeah, Johnny Cage became a martial arts action star. He's now an A-lister in Hollywood, and then gets roped into this wacky MK mystery. The movie was Gilbert Gottfried's final movie. Yep, he was. Gilbert Gottfried plays Johnny Cage's sketchy agent, who turns out to be a demon in disguise. Pretty funny. Yeah, Kelly Hu's in this. Kelly Hu is Ashra. Weirdly, Ashra is Johnny Cage's love interest in this movie. Yeah, this came out when they were trying to break Johnny and Sonya apart for the reboot timeline, and weirdly, Ashra is Johnny Cage's love interest. Which is weird because Ashra is usually Reptile's love interest. Yep, this was Gilbert Gottfried's last performance, and honestly went out on a high note. How funny, Gilbert Gottfried plays a demon disguised as a Hollywood agent who tries to assassinate Johnny Cage. That is a badass final role to go out on. R.I.P. Gilbert. Cool like Cage. Yep. R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, Kelly Hu's in this movie. She plays Ashra. She also plays one of the other characters, but I can't remember her name. I believe this is the final role on TV show is Smiling Friends, playing as God. The movie was also Gilbert Gottfried's final movie. First we lost Gilbert, now we lost Tony Todd. He was just starting to be Venom. This is terrible. Yeah, Tony Todd was a legend. Jennifer Grey made a cameo and played Serena. Yeah, the main villain is Shinnok, but we see Serena is technically the rival to Johnny Cage. Yep, Reptile should go after Sonya. that would work. Like he played David Dalby. That was his name, yeah. Okay, so Johnny Cage is working in Hollywood until one day the MK antics happen upon him. He finds out one of his friends, Jennifer, it's actually Hollywood actress Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey has mysteriously disappeared, and Johnny Cage is actually worried about her, looking into her disappearance. He finds Ashra fighting one of the Mortal Kombat D-list villains. He finds Ashra fighting a ninja in her house, goes after them, fights with them, they kill the assassin, and he questions Ashra on what's going on here, where Ashra reveals she's trying to foil the resurrection of Shinnok. Yep, Shinnok is the main villain of this movie, and surprisingly done a lot better here. Robin Atkin Downes plays Shinnok again, though throughout most of the movie, the leading villain is Serena. It turns out Jennifer did not go missing. She became Serena. She's Serena from Mortal Kombat, and she's hatching this overly complex satanic scheme to summon Shinnok into Earthrealm so he can destroy it. Yeah, Mocap is there, and Grey DeLeo played Kai. Yep, that was her. Johnny Cage has two sidekicks, Ashra, who's the leading lady in this, and Mocap, who's Johnny Cage's tired personal assistant. Yeah, Mocap is actually in this movie. He doesn't become Mocap, but he's like the funny, sassy black sidekick. It is kind of a fun movie. It's very much self-aware, dumb fun kind of action movie, kind of like what the MCU used to be, but with hardcore R-rated violence. Johnny Cage fights Gilbert Gottfried, who's really a demon disguised as a Hollywood executive. Yeah, the jokes kind of write themselves. It is pretty funny. Gilbert Gottfried actually does really own this role. He was very funny as a snarky demon lord. So, Johnny Cage undergoes basically kind of like a noir detective mystery, but with some Mortal Kombat fight scenes. He finds out Jennifer Grey is uniting all the Satanists in Hollywood, yes, that is the joke, to summon Shinnok. They open up a portal in the sky and bring Shinnok to Earthrealm, and Johnny Cage finally proves himself worthy of being an action star. All the characters treat him like a joke, do not take him seriously, and Johnny Cage actually saves our universe by fighting Shinnok. Ashra gets into a sexy cat fight with Serena, while Johnny Cage fights Shinnok, similar to MKX. Yeah, that is what they're paying tribute to. The Johnny Cage and Shinnok fight is supposed to be like their fight in the opening of MKX. Robin Atkin Downes plays Shinnok, and he's pretty cool, basically acting like Mum-Ra from the 2011 Thundercats. Who is Mocap and MK in general? He's one of the reoccurring fighting characters. He's introduced like in a later sequel. He basically has mocap abilities. He can copy his fighters and project like CGI holograms like a mocap suit. Yeah, I haven't really played a lot of the older titles. That's the basic information I know about him. Mocap in this movie is kind of Johnny's funny assistant. They hint that he's going to become his Mortal Kombat character in the future, but nothing ever comes of it in this film. Yeah, they call him Mocap because he uses like a mocap power and a mocap suit later in the movie. So they kill Serena, they defeat the cult, and Johnny Cage hilariously punches Shinnok in the nuts and kicks him back to hell where he belongs. Johnny Cage actually proves himself to be a worthy hero, and this is how he gets invited to the tournament of Mortal Kombat. Apparently, the Elder Gods saw what Johnny Cage did, and the movie ends with them leaving a letter inviting him to an island to partake in the tournament, hinting that this is before Mortal Kombat 1. Can't tell if it's before the movie or the video game, but yeah, Johnny Cage basically attracted their attention and respect, proving that he was a great Earthrealm warrior. And yeah, Johnny Cage saves our universe from basically Mortal Kombat Satan. Pretty standard, dumb, fun movie. Oh yeah, Mocap gets a job as a motion capture worker, and Ashra and Johnny Cage hook up at the end of this. They do kiss each other, and Ashra apparently doesn't attack him or push him away, so she was kind of into it. Mocap sounds like an overpowered character. In Mortal Kombat, anyone can be overpowered. And it's done, since next is Fall of Edenia coming soon, and it has Katana. Yeah, I am totally gonna buy that when that comes out. I heard Fall of Edenia was supposed to come out last year, but it never happened, and we're still waiting for it. Not sure if it's still getting made, or if it was one of the many projects scrapped by Warner Brothers, but there's no news on the horizon, so I decided why not do this now. If Fall of Edenia does get made, then I will be doing it and the sequel to the 2021 movie. Yeah, Katana deserves her own movie. Like No Meat, and yes, he is an MK funny character. I have to go. Bye. Bye, Monica. It's okay, we're kind of wrapping up right about now. So, Cage Match, it's a pretty fun movie. I would say it's cool. It's not one of my favorites. I do think Scorpion's Revenge is still S tier, and the first movie by far outclasses all of these, but Cage Match, it's fun, it's kooky, it's crazy, it's got a love for Johnny Cage and everything Mortal Kombat, and actually works as a better standalone movie than Kenshi in the Multiverse of Madness did. So I kind of wish we got more movies like this, standalone titles, giving the spotlight to one of our fan favorite characters, because Cage Match actually proved that they could do it justice. So this match I will be putting on to Cool. Bye, Monica. Really loved you. So, as we can see, we actually got some more good movies up here. I know Battle of the Realms gets a bad rap, but I thought it was pretty cool. So, a lot more positive on this one, and a lot of negative down here. But, we did them all. We finally finished this tournament. We talked about all of them on my personal MK ladder. So, I'll go over it one last time for any late birds, or anyone who skip clicks to the end to see my ranking in full. Try and capturing it all here all together. You can clearly see them all, but my avatar might be covering Annihilation. Don't worry, it's just Annihilation. Like, when is MK waifu tier list? Might have to do that one day, but I think we should do an actual character tier list first. Want to talk about who the characters are before doing waifus. Yeah, I know Katana will definitely be S tier, especially if you keep up with my channel. But, alright, let's go over this one last time. At rock bottom, it's official. You suck. Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins. This one is trash. It's so awful that people try to cover up it even happened, but I remember, and it still sucks. Then, MK Annihilation. Was there really any doubt? This is not only the worst Mortal Kombat movie, this is one of the worst video game movies of all time. It is that bad. It only gets a point above The Journey Begins because of the surplus of hot characters, but that's really all it has going for. It's bad. It deserves to be fatality'd. We already know which character will be at F tier. Yeah, Devora. Katana tier list with her design. Maybe one day. Yeah, Devora is easily the worst MK waifu. Alright, next is Lin Nay. Snowblind. This movie is a mess. It's confusing, it's overly convoluted. Shang Tsung is a twist villain, and you can obviously see his betrayal coming the moment he reveals his name. It's not a good movie. It's easily the weakest of the animated movies, but I'll give it an A for effort because I'd still watch it over The Journey Begins. Then, None in Tai Game. Surprisingly, none actually made it in here because I actually did have a lot of positives to say. We know who will be in F tier. Yep, we do. Bye, Monica. Okay, got a lot in cool. We do have Battle of the Realms. Yes, this movie is very rushed and has way too much going on, but I thought it was pretty fun. It actually does a good job adapting MK's 2 and 3, but 4 is the weak link easily. The Shinnok stuff really should have been saved for its own film, but the Shao Kahn stuff I will defend is actually pretty good. It's a very fun depiction of the Shao Kahn story arc. I like the characters, I like the animation, the action is really gnarly, and Liu Kang and Katana feel like very fun, fleshed out characters in this. Not as good as their game counterparts, but I would still definitely watch this over the bad films. Kung Lao F tier character? No, I love Kung Lao. Like she's a bug or a wasp creature that sucks. Yeah, she does. Also, Devora murdered both Scorpion and Melina, so yeah, nobody likes her doing that to the fan favorites. Alright, next is MK 2021. Yeah, the reboot does have its flaws, but I thought it was alright. Very decent film, dumb fun action flick. It clearly did appreciate Mortal Kombat, and it tried to take the lore seriously in a much darker, grittier direction, so I do give it points for that. Also, the best character in this is easily Kano, so I'll put it on to cool. Then, MK Legends Cage Match. Once again, just a dumb fun movie. It is pretty enjoyable. I do like it. There's some things that could have been better. Some jokes are kind of a hit and miss here and there, but Johnny Cage is really awesome. Shinnok is much better in this film than his last movie, and honestly, it's just a fun standalone film. I do like them giving spotlight, and I hope we get more spotlight movies for MK characters, because this one really knocked it out of the park. And up top, our top 2 flawless victories. We do have MK Legends Scorpion's Revenge. Yeah, this one was cool. It was so awesome that people actually wanted more of these animated MK movies because Scorpion is awesome. This movie did a great job showcasing him, giving us MK1 through his perspective, and giving a satisfying fight between Scorpion and Quan Chi. Yeah, there are some scratches here and there, and I do think MK1 could have been its own movie, but as is, it's an awesome tribute to an awesome character. But our number 1 is, unsurprisingly, Paul W.S. Anderson's only good video game movie, Mortal Kombat, the 90s one. Yeah, this is awesome. This is one of the few movies that avoided the video game movie curse. It really loves Mortal Kombat. It did these characters justice. It gave us so much coolness, and actually, introduced a lot of original content which influenced the actual franchise. So I really love it for that alone. Yeah, I know it's PG-13, but what it got right, it really got right. This is easily our Mortal Kombat champion. Kung Lao F tier. Yeah, so got that Mortal Kombat, the 90s one, it's number one, hasn't been outclassed, and rock bottom is The Journey Begins, the one so bad we all wish it never happened and forgot about it. Who was that? A piece of ass next to Sonya on the thumbnail? You talking about the guys or the girls? Because you might be talking about Kitana, but you could also be talking about Raiden or Johnny Cage. Bye, Kat. Bye, Kira. So yeah, that pretty much completes our tier list. Not too much to talk about, but as you can see, we did have a lot more good than bad in this franchise. Even despite its weaker films, I think Mortal Kombat is definitely a fun franchise. Up until the game started going downhill, but movie-wise, they do show a love and passion for everything MK. The first one is a masterpiece. The worst one, easily The Journey Begins. Don't watch it. It is free on YouTube, so try and see how long you can get past it if you're really curious. Solid tier list. Thank you, Simon. What's your next tier list? Okay, so next, a lot of people want me to do Scooby-Doo. I'm trying to finish Mystery Incorporated. I have begun rewatching A Pup Named Scooby-Doo because a lot of people want me to talk about it. Might do another Scooby-Doo tier list. I know I also have to do the Six Rangers, so that one's still waiting on the shelf, but Scooby-Doo might be more likely because we've been having a lot of attention to those. We do have 3 videos on Patreon now. Wolf did an anime review, I did an anime review, and I have a Tales from the Dark Side episode I did No Strings on Patreon. My next one I'm thinking about, I might do a top 10, but we'll see. Tier list wise, likely Scooby-Doo. Oh, the girl, that's Talisa Soto's Kitana. Yeah, really love Kitana, she is hot. Have you done a tier list of horror monsters from R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour? Not yet. I haven't done that show yet. I did do Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps, but not The Haunting Hour yet. I honestly might be saving that one for October time, just because it's much more special that way. Will I do more MK tier lists? I might. I know a lot of people want me to talk about characters. Kira wants me to do waifus, but we'll see. Okay, so I'll wrap up and set you guys free. Take one last snapshot of this tier list if you haven't seen them all. Don't worry, my avatar might be blocking MK Annihilation, but everyone wants to forget that one anyway. So, take one last snapshot. This is my tier list on a whole. I really love Mortal Kombat and might do more tier lists on it in the future, but for now, I'll set you guys free. So, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more content here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I'll see you on the next round. Combat time over. Flawless victory.